All right, welcome to Frontiersman Live with Frontiersman publisher Dennis Anderson. And my guest today is the City of Wasilla Mayor, Bert Cottle. We're sponsored by MTA, Life Technology Together. Welcome, Mayor.
Welcome.
Good to see you.
Thanks for inviting me over.
You bet. Let's talk about, first of all, let's get off with the upcoming events you have coming.
Well, it's been busy. We've been doing lots of ribbon cuttings. We did 3 ribbon cuttings last week. We've done a couple already this week. Or one we just did yesterday was H5 Construction finished up phase 2 on their senior housing unit on Lucille Street. So that makes a total of 78 senior housing units that they've opened in the last 2 years on Lucille Street. That's right next to Primrose. They have 78 at their new facility there at Vista Rose, and then Primrose has 76 units, and then of course Wassy has 120. So we're right at 300 units now inside the city limits. So that's exciting.
Yeah. So Vista Rose, Primrose, owned by 2 separate companies.
Yeah, Primrose and Vista Rose are 2 separate organizations.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Vista Rose, the new one that just is opening phase 2, that's income-based housing, and so. Yeah, so that's what that one is.
Okay. And then we had the Big Michael's grand opening.
Michael's was on Sunday. We had over 100 people standing in line at 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning. That, I think, was a record for us. That's the most ever seen.
You got church. NFL kicked off.
Right.
And then all these folks showed up.
And they still showed up.
Yeah.
And I talked to one of the managers there at Michael's, and they said the first 4 hours of their opening was larger than any one day of any one of their stores nationwide.
Nationwide.
Yeah, they said of any of their stores, their 4 hours in Wasilla was bigger than any of their other stores.
So if
for
they
a full
opened up
day.
a Michael's in New York City, we beat New York City.
Wherever they have Michael's. I don't know where they have Michael's, but they said that, yeah, that was their 4th store in Alaska. They have
Yeah.
2 in Anchorage, 1 in Fairbanks, and then this one. So it was a big deal.
I know there was a lot of anticipation for that store to come, and Facebook was going crazy, and all the crafters were ready to go.
And I think it'll stay busy. Yeah, I think they're going to be amazed at how many people. It's just one less reason not to drive to Anchorage.
Yeah. We're building, and you talked a little bit about H5 Construction when we were talking upstairs.
Right, and H5 Construction is the one that's the lead developer on Sun Mountain development. That's up by Sportsman's Warehouse, up on the hill there by the Trout House and stuff. And that's his 33-acre development. And so what he's building up there, it'd be interesting to bring him in here, but he's building basically a miniature Takatna Center, like to have in Anchorage, only this one will have housing on the footprint.
Oh, housing with it.
Yes, so
okay.
there'll be some apartments, some high-end apartments up there that, you can basically live in an apartment, go down, have something to eat, go shopping, all in the same walkable district.
Cool. It's making great progress on that.
They're supposed to do their first foundation next month in October.
Great.
And that'll be for a fitness-related facility.
Yep. The lights are up for the parking lot. I see that they're coming up, and
Right.
So it's fun. You go eat at Red Robin or you go to Sportsman's Warehouse, and it's fun to see the progress that they're making.
And the only one that's already got a nest up there or a house up there is the eagle, because the eagle stays. So he's got his 3 acres, and so he watches them. He's there.
An actual eagle.
Yeah, there's an actual eagle's nest there, an active one. So he watches them every day.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit of politics.
Okay.
With the borough and the police powers, and you've got the largest police force other than, maybe you're larger than the trooper presence here.
No, there's probably days I have more officers on the street than the troopers,
Okay.
depending on what's going on. But we have the largest city department in the borough. One of the ballot issues coming up on the borough vote next month is whether or not we should vote to direct or ask the borough to check into police powers. And I'm going to vote no on that. I think the borough has that power now. They'll look at we've been doing it for 20 years, asking, should we have something similar to a police department, a sheriff's department, or something on the borough. I find there's no reason to direct them to do that. They can do that now without us doing the direction.
I was going to say, so we have to vote to tell them to look into police powers?
That's basically what the ballot says, the way I read it. And
Is this one of those things where they didn't make a decision on the assembly and they want to put it back on the people to make that decision for them?
well, the original ballot issue, the original one that was proposed actually had a price tag attached to it, and you were looking at about a 4 mil increase on your property tax if that went through. And the way I read the first one that they originally were going to do, the 3 cities were not going to vote because we already have police powers, and 2 out of 3 of us already have a police department, and the 3rd city, Houston, is working on developing their police department back. But now the new one has everybody voting, so I question why would you want us all to vote unless, I don't know, maybe it's another plastic bag tax ban, whatever they want to call it, to where they want all 3 of the cities now to pay for it, because why would a city pay for a borough police department when we already have our own police department? So I question the rationality of why should I pay for another police department? That makes no sense. If that, and I don't know, but at this point, I think they need to come back and say, okay, maybe we do PSAs, police service areas, like we do FS, fire service areas. Why not come back with police service areas and say, okay, I'll make up one, KGB. You want to do KGB into a police service area, here's what it would cost the taxpayers out there, here's what you would get for that money. Because there's lots of questions that come up. Are we going to have the equal amount of police stations that we have fire stations?
Yeah.
Are we going to have a jail? Are we going to have a court system that if we arrest you on borough charges, and if there's jail time associated with it, we have to provide a public defender? There's lots of questions, and they don't really need our permission. They should be, I think, doing that anyway.
Yes, researching the cost and
Right.
The cost effectiveness. And I was at the Menard Center when they did the town hall where we listed ways to fight crime, and then we had to vote, and
Right.
part of it was borough police powers, and are we willing to pay the taxes to do it? And almost everybody said yes, but if they're not doing it right, I want to pull my money back.
Right.
So it was kind of it's like I'll do it, but I don't want to do it.
Well, and then
I mean, if you're going to do it, if you're going to if we're going to scream about crime and so forth, we're going to have to pay something.
right.
And no matter how we do this, whether you're doing the service area like we talked about in Settlers Bay, where Settlers Bay maybe pays your
Right.
fees and so forth, one way or another, people are going to have to pay to fight crime. We can't just keep saying SB 91 and throw our hands up. Something's going to happen.
Well, and then this is just one piece of the pie, because the other piece of the pie is we need more prosecutors.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to make more arrests, you need more prosecutors to prosecute them, and you're going to have the court open.
I was going to say court can't be 4 days a week.
Right. You got to be open on Fridays, and you got to have more accessibility on the weekends. If you're going to start arresting people, and that's, I think, what people are upset about. I mean, where we used to arrest people for shoplifting and low-level thefts, we're not doing it anymore.
Right.
We're writing citations. So, and because the district attorney's office said, look, we don't have enough prosecutors to prosecute these people, so write them tickets, and that was part of SB 91. People are tired of that. And then where are we going to put them? You shut down Sutton, and so you're going to have to reopen Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just more cops on the street. I mean, it's kind of like fishing. You can catch all the fish you want, but if you can't clean them, you can't clean them.
All right. Well, like SB 91, as flawed as it is, the purpose was we just didn't have room for all the prisoners, and we couldn't afford it. Am I right?
Right. That was part of the rationale, and we were going to try something different. But if you look at the numbers, we basically shift what it cost us to put people in prison to what it cost us in part on thefts on the street now. I mean, we either paid to put them in jail, or now we're paying for them to run around kind of stealing our property and things like that. So, yeah, it's a whole big pie that needs to be fixed. And then not only that, and this has come up even at the borough assembly meetings. If we say put 50 sheriff's deputies on the streets, do the troopers not put any more troopers on the street? Or all of a sudden we're doing the troopers' work because we're covering? I mean, there's lots of questions. So yeah,
So and that's one of the deals I brought up to our group was, if you have the borough have police powers, or if you expand the city of Wausilla's police department, state's not going to pay for anything then, right? They're going to just go, okay, well, they got it covered. we'll go with our 35 troopers or whatever we have down here. Why would they put any more or invest any more money out here for crime and punishment if we're going to go ahead and foot the bill anyway?
So let's use Anchorage as an example. How many state troopers patrol Anchorage?
And done.
And basically, they're there for task force, or they're there for the crime lab, or multi-investigations on drugs and maybe a homicide that crosses lines and stuff. But you really don't see any troopers patrolling downtown. So there's lots of questions. And do you need our permission to do that? And no, I think the borough should already be doing that and coming back and say, okay, we've looked at PSAs and this is what it means. I mean, they can commission their own. So I don't think they really need our vote. And it kind of scares me that they would even ask.
Well, what I find with the borough, I've been to your city council meeting, Palmer, and the borough. What I find with the borough, there's so much more pushback from the public at the borough. I mean, so I think that influences them quite a bit, and sometimes it cripples them to make decisions. I've sat there and listened to them debate, and I remember for the transportation plan for the new logging deal up for the borough, and finally Matthew Beck, because they were wanting to go away from protocol and have the transportation plan then voted on by the assembly, and which the lawyer, I can't remember his name, the borough lawyer said.
Nick,
yeah, he said, we don't do that.
right.
We vote whether we're gonna do this or not, and then the plan goes from there, and then that's it. And Matthew Beck finally said, why do we have a county manager if we're gonna keep coming back and micromanaging everything?
Right.
So,
Well, it's like the plastic bag tax that they were going to do, and it was going to bring in about 2.1 to 2.2 million dollars, of which 1.8 was going to come out of Wasilla because of the box stores we have and because of the retail business we have. And then when we pushed back and said, look, is this just a money grab? And where's the money going to go? None of it went back to the cities it came from. It was going to go into whatever they decided, at the dump, and there was nothing associated with cleanup fees. And so we did the plastic bag ban, which took up $1.8 million out of the number, and that whole thing went away.
right.
So then I'm going. So it was just about the money.
Like I say, you sandbag the bag tax.
And we went back since that and said, now are you going to do the plastic bag ban? And no, it's off the table. So
And then Palmer jumped on board.
And Palmer's,
Now Anchorage is on board.
I mean, even as much as we go back and forth against Anchorage has even come up with something, and the borough still has not. And the borough is a different set of politics, and I try and stay out of that unless it affects our 14 square miles. I mean, that's the borough's responsibility. So I'm not here to pick on the borough. Trust me.
No, I know. No, and I
We work very well with the borough, and we've all agreed that we all have our our different economic developer and bunch, and I support the borough, but the police powers they have the power to do this now. You don't need a vote.
no, and I think that if they would just direct John Musey to do it, he would do it, and he would do the due diligence, and then we could figure out whether it's worth it or not.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
By the way, on the plastic bag, I saw on Facebook the other day a receipt from Walmart, and it says 10 cents bag tax, which is confusing people.
Right, because that's not a tax.
It's not a tax.
If that's a tax, that's their tax. That's not our tax.
Right.
I mean, where Anchorage is mandating their businesses actually charge up to 50 cents on the bags,
Yeah.
whether they're paper or even reusable bags that they give them to them. We don't do that. That's up to the retailer.
So it should be a charge and not a tax.
Yeah, it should be a charge, not a tax, because we're not seeing any of that 10 cent. Yeah, and that's not us. That's not us, and that shouldn't be us. We should not be.
Well, it shouldn't read that way. They should correct.
Right, and if I mean, let's face it. When we used to get plastic bags, non-reusable ones, there, right? That was part of doing business. That was taken in as like heat, lights, building upkeep and stuff. We paid for the plastic bags they used to give us.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh yeah, I was a retailer.
Yeah.
And you paid for it. Yeah.
Right, and so if you want to give out paper bags or whatever you want to do now, that's up to the retail, the wholesaler. I mean, we all shopped at Costco and Sam's, and they give us boxes, or you brought your own bags.
And I don't mind paying 10 cents. And actually, the bags that we have now, I like them a lot better. I'm not afraid that my groceries are going to fall through them.
Right.
that they're using. So,
You know, and I'm going to give a promo for the athletic department at the high school, at Wasilla High School.
Okay.
So Wasilla High School right now, and I donate a small amount of money every year for their athletic funds and stuff like that. And I asked them, I said, once you come out with some reusable bags, shopping bags that have your logos on them, it says Wasilla Warriors. And I think that would be a great money maker for them. Instead of, you know, more candy, more popcorn, whatever, you could buy a reusable bag that had the Warriors logo on it or something like that and pay $5 for it, you know, and use it as a fundraiser. And I think they're getting closer to coming out with the bags. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I'll come over and sell you a bag.
Yeah, I'll buy them. You bet.
So,
So we're sponsored by MTA, Life Technology Together, and I'm here with City of Wasilla Mayor Bert Cottle. Let's talk about, and I'm hoping we put this to bed. I wrote a column about it on Sunday, the Veterans Wall. I think, so I called you the fixer because there was this issue, and then you stepped in along with the city council, and you found a spot for the Veterans Wall. The plan looks great. Are we past this now?
I hope so. And you may have talked about this on record, off record before.
We never talk off record.
Never
Just
talk
so
off
you know.
record. But, you know, people can be upset with how the process happened to get to the point where they had to move the wall. I can't fix that.
Right.
And so, and I've got, as I said before, I got 10 of my family members' names on that wall. So it means something to me too, besides being the Veterans Wall. There needs to be some kind of closure. It needed a place to go. We went to them and said, look, we've got a place that we can let you go to. We'll help raise the money. Matsu Health Foundation come up with $262,000, and Matsu Borough put in $150,000. We give them a 99-year lease with a 99-year option on a 0.97 tenths of an acre. They're pouring concrete as we speak this week. Veterans Day 2018 will be at the new location. And we've already started discussions on raising money for phase 2. We need to raise another $300,000, which will put a pavilion up and over it, put some storage over there, and some more paving for sidewalks and stuff like that. So it's going to be a nice wall when we get done. And the police department will be in the same parking lot. I can't provide any higher security than the police department in the same parking lot. And I want something that we can all be proud of.
Yeah.
And so, and in respect for the veterans, there needs to be a closure. I mean, it's going to take a while for some people, I think, to get over the feelings. But and I've met with people who say that they put ashes up there, and I've told them, I said, if you have, show us. We'll move the dirt. You can move the dirt. We'll set it when we get the new location. The ladies who put the flower box up there said that they were going to help us put in new flower boxes at the new location. So, I mean, everybody's stepping up and said, you tell us what you need and we'll help you.
Well, I can't wait till phase 2 is done. We got the pavilion, we got the the chairs up there, which is always an issue up on the hill, and then we'll have a little protection from the weather. And any way you can move that mountain view.
I thought about maybe a big white screen behind there. We could flash the mountain picture behind there, but I
There
thought
you go.
Probably not. And in the new police department, we're going to build it to where we have public access to at least a couple of the bathrooms without getting into the secure area of the police department. Because we really don't want to put porta potties up there or anything. But the events are usually 30 to 45 minutes, and but at the same time, I want to make sure bathrooms are available. So we're making sure that comes into the design phase for the new PD, which will break ground in May of next year.
Yeah, great. So you gave up. You're a retired police chief.
Yes.
And so your weapon of choice was when you carried.
Oh, I was old. I carried a wheel gun. I still carried a revolver.
And now you trade that in for a large pair of scissors and ribbon.
A large pair of scissors. But we were talking earlier about police powers and stuff like that. One of the things that we did just pass Monday night at our council meeting was providing 2 additional SROs.
Yes.
And I got to be full force. I mean, I can't deplete or take down my sworn officers off the street for the SROs. So we're in the process now. If anybody would like to be a police officer, now's the time, because everybody's looking for qualified people to be police officers. Yeah. But once we get full staffed, we're going to put a SRO, school resource officer, at Colony, and then we're going to put one up at Houston. So it'll be a Colony High, Colony Middle, and then Houston High, Houston Middle.
Okay.
And he'll be one of our sworn officers.
City of Palmer or the Palmer Police Department gonna do Palmer?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and then who does that leave, Reddington?
Reddington, they said not yet, and
Okay.
then, and then the other ones, I mean, you're talking, when you get much further out than that, you're talking Talkeetna, travel time, you're talking an hour, hour and a half each way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Reddington, in my mind, would probably be next, somewhere down the line. But, so we would do, well, we already have one inside Whistle, we've had one inside the city limits for a number of years. And it's a 75-25 split. The school district pays 75% of the cost, actual cost, and then we pay the other 25% because we get them in the summer and during Christmas holidays and Thanksgiving and that.
Yeah, what I found interesting at the city council meeting, and this is what happens when you don't go to city council meetings, you don't get the inside scoop, unless you read the Frontiersman, of course. But what I found interesting was the question from, I think it was City Councilman Graham to the police chief of police, asking, well, wait a minute, if you're gonna put 2 officers in the schools and you don't have these people trained yet, are we gonna be short on the streets? And he said, no, streets take precedence.
Right.
And then we'll
Right.
work on it. We probably won't even have them in the school this year, but you put it on in the budget, just to show that the
Right.
effective date, right?
Well, and we needed a budget placeholder for us and for the school district, and so everybody knows what's coming. In fact, I was at a meeting Tuesday, and I had a lady come over and give me a hug, and she goes, my daughter goes to school in college. She goes, thank you.
Yeah, we gotta have something.
She goes, and I checked with the school, so the 19,000 kids we have in the school district, 30% go to different locations.
Right.
So, it's over 5,000 of our kids are, so we have Wasilla-based kids actually go to school in Colony, or they go to school in Reddington, or they go to school in Houston. I mean, I don't, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but they're all our kids, and I want our kids safe. All our kids.
And I mean, we're all, there's the cities and so forth, but we're all Matsu Valley.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when it comes to that, I don't think anybody questions that. As long as our students are safe in the schools, whatever it takes, make them safe.
Okay, we're gonna finish up with a couple of fun things here. Again, we're sponsored by MTA Life Technology Together. I'm with City of Wasilla Mayor Bert Cottle. Mayor, are you a movie person, a music person, or a book person?
Book. I read books every night. Helps me relax. Helps me go to sleep.
What's your top 3?
I read a lot of Chelsea's books. Action books, things like that.
Okay.
Murder mysteries, police investigations. Yeah.
So, okay, great. What about your favorite place to eat in the valley?
I try to eat all my meals inside the city limits.
Right.
Evangelos. I love Evangelos.
Yeah, he does a great job.
He does.
I ate there last night, and I was telling my guest, who's up here from Virginia, you can come in this restaurant anytime, and the meal is so consistent. There's
Right.
So really appreciate that from Angela. What's your favorite Alaskan activity to do?
Actually, camping.
Okay.
I guess I'm past I'm getting older, so camping in the summer and running around Alaska, and especially when the relatives come from the lower 48, I mean, it makes us as Alaskans actually go camping and actually go sightseeing where we probably normally would not because we live here.
Right.
So I love camping in the summer.
Awesome. So one of the ribbon cuttings you had was at Nunley Park.
Yes.
Correct. It was a pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the city council meeting, you said Mayor Nunley was the first mayor of Wasilla
Yep. He was the first one appointed by the council.
in 1974.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna play a little Price is Right from 1974. I'll give you some items, and you got to guess the price.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one isn't a price, but what was playing at the Center Theater in Palmer in the first week of 1974? What was their lead movie?
Not a clue.
Charlotte's Web.
Really?
Yeah. Smoked pork chops per pound,
I'd guess 75 cents.
$1.30.
Ooh.
Got to pay for shipping.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. What did it cost to rent a 2-bedroom house on Lazy Mountain? All utilities were paid.
$300 a month.
$235.
I was closer.
You were close. Yeah. Dozen eggs, large size eggs.
69 cents.
79 cents. Good. Yeah, you're right there. Oranges per pound.
Oranges per pound?
Yeah.
Because they got to be shipped in probably $1.
25 cents. And in 1953, they were 19 cents, so they didn't go up much
Huh.
in 20 years. Yeah,
That was shipped in.
25 cents. Yeah, and we always talk about the buses back and forth because we have lunch on Thursday, and usually Moki's there, and we like to give him a hard time. So, Palmer Community Bus to Anchorage was how much in 1974?
$5.
$3 each way.
Huh.
All right, so this is the Frontiersman Live. My guest was Mayor Bert Cottle. Mayor, thanks for coming.
Thank you,
for being
Dennis.
on. And this is sponsored by MTA Life Technology Together.